welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Happy Sunday. Today we're going to do kind of a special reading. May 2nd is the first day of travel week. It's not really a travel day, it's travel week. And I thought I would go ahead and post a special video. I've been posting videos that show my card decks, and I decided to go ahead and do another deck collection video. So what we'll do is the first half of the video we're going to talk about the two decks that you see here, which are travel related decks, and then the second half of the video I'm going to go ahead and use these decks to create 3 piles, and you can pick a pile and we'll go ahead and see how do you spiritually travel, like how do you use spirit or the universe to choose where you travel to. And I know that's a little bit of a weird subject. I'll elaborate a little bit more on that. I'm not sure how I'm going to phrase that in the cover slide yet, but basically, I wanted to go ahead and just talk about the 2 decks that I use when it talks about journeys or sabbaticals. And actually, I just went on a journey just a few days ago, and it was a really good trip. Now, if you're watching this at the time the video posts, we are still in, post-pandemic world where it's not really encouraged that we, jump in the car and go places. But the destination I traveled to was outdoors, so it was very safe. And of course, wherever you go, I hope that you go with care, with consideration of world events. And but that being said, it's always really exciting to go new places. And actually, when I was driving to my destination a few days ago, I went with my best friend, and we were talking about the ways in which you choose your travel destinations, right? And it was funny because being a spiritual person, long before I even started to read cards or do anything like that, I had to admit, someone saying, hey, how do you what made you decide to go, this place or that place? And you're like, you know what? I have a real woo-woo way of doing that. And I think it's rooted in my spirituality, right? So when I say like woo-woo, it's like all the places, all the really big, like when you think about it, you have like a kind of a bucket list in life. Like you say, okay, I want to see all of the state parks, or maybe you've always wanted to go to Nova Scotia, or go to Hawaii or something like that. But I noticed that when we were talking about what places to go, my friend utilizes websites, and of course, in the modern age, that's a very useful resource. There's websites that can say, okay, if you want to go to an island destination, here's some suggestions. But one thing that I do notice about online, though, is that sometimes it can get suggestive in kind of a advertising kind of way, which, of course, with modern technology has become very advanced. There's algorithms, that determine, your shopping preferences, your clicking preferences. It probably could suggest some really great destinations with that. But it was funny how, as we were talking about it, I was like, you know what? I really, just like the way that I read signs and symbols through the cards, I always kind of listen to my Rice Krispies when it comes to places that I want to go. Some of the big places that I've traveled to in the past, I remember one time I wanted to go to the Adirondack Mountains in upstate New York in North America, and I had read about it in a fiction novel. And the author of the book used to spend summers in Lake Placid, and it was really a fascinating trip. I had a really great time, and I got inspired by reading a book. Now, the other thing that I always kind of do is that it's interesting. Sometimes I just think travel is kind of instinctual, in the sense that sometimes you might get like a hint from I like to call it road signs. You know, like you see the symbol of something, and then all of a sudden you become fascinated with the background of it. Like maybe you see, you go to your local museum and you see a statue that came from Italy, and then you become fascinated with the artist, and then you decide, okay, it's on my bucket list. I want to go to Italy and I want to see the you know, the creative workshop where this person lived and worked. You know, stuff like that. And that's where I think that travels really do teach you a lot spiritually. And then, you know, just like anytime I get, you know, the inkling to go someplace, you know, when I go up there, I always look for all the coffee shops in the area, and I always have really good coffee too. So it becomes a journey, right? It becomes a journey. And my friend had suggested some really great digital resources that, you know, that just there's a few websites that'll talk about like attractions. If you're headed, you know, if you're headed to a certain destination, it might say, oh, while you're in that area, you know, if you're headed west, you know, you can stop and see the world's biggest ball of wax, or you know, you can always add on to your journey. And I've always noticed that those little kind of side road things that you see when you're on the path to something, is almost like divine intervention. You know, the little things that you do along the way really count for a lot. So I hope that made sense. I'm sorry to ramble, but I wanted to go ahead and I wanted that to be kind of the core of the reading. When we get to the reading part, I'm going to be pulling cards to see how the universe speaks to you, or you know, when it comes to your travels, like what guidance does it have regarding travel for you at this time, and either that, or how does the universe speak to you when you have, you know, when you have places to go. So that'll be the theme of today's reading. But the first half of it, we're going to talk about the 2 card decks that I have here. If you see in the background here, I pulled one card from another deck that is not shown here. This is the Quality Self-Care cards, the Quality Time Self-Care cards by DejaDrewit. And I just always love this. She has a really great card that says travel, and I just think it's beautiful. Like, also the number 5 is representative of change. So sometimes if you need a change of scenery, you know. But I went ahead and decided to put that card up just as inspiration for the read. But all right, enough blabbing. Let's go ahead and we're going to jump into the card decks. Now, the first card deck that I'm going to show you today is the Enchanted Map Oracle cards by Colette Baron-Reid. And Colette Baron-Reid is a very, very well-known card maker. She has many other beautiful decks. She's done decks like the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, the Spirit Animal deck. She has a crystal, like a crystal deck. But this deck is so special in the way that it really does. It's kind of mythical in the way that the images are, but I think when you're looking to travel, or you're on a journey, whether that be spiritual or a real journey, I think these cards are real helpful for that. She has cards like details, and what I love about it is, just real quick, in the book, she has a picture of the card. She has a keyword and a number. She has upright and reversed. And then she even has a phrase. So I do turn to the book quite often. It's very well done. But the cards, of course, just like all her decks, can really be read on their own. And so details, you know, sometimes that can be a hint that you really want to either map out your destination, or you might, you know, to avoid any hassle, you may want to mine the details, ride the wave. You know, that's like, you know, kind of like you're on a wave of power or wave of fun. Slow and steady. You know, she's got some really great ones. Now, of course, a lot of this, you know, can pertain to more of a spiritual journey. But I do feel like, you know, Sacred Pool, I think a lot of these really do talk about like journeys that you can take. Either, you know, personal journeys or like real journeys as well. And so like Moonlight's a real beautiful one that really does talk about like trusting intuition and trusting spiritual symbols. So sometimes if this comes up in a read that pertains to you traveling, it can really be like a listen, kind of like listen to your Rice Krispies. If you're drawn to go see the world's biggest ball of wax, take some time out to do that. I think it's telling you that you're really gonna find something special in doing that. And but it's very mystical, but it is also really beautiful. I actually pulled this card before I went on my trip a few days ago, and what I really got from it is that you see this woman playing a violin and like fireballs coming from it. I really sparked off a lot of inspiration from going on the trip. Solitude, I can kind of see this as like maybe you need some time, just to, maybe you're going on a trip to get away, to quiet your mind. Maybe if you have a family, this is going to be your kind of private time, or B&B, breakfast, bed and breakfast. Magic prayer. So again, wide open. What I always think of when I see this? I think of that Dixie Chicks song, Wide Open Spaces. Or standing on a cliff and really kind of feeling. That's one other thing about traveling is sometimes when you've been cooped up inside for so long, you forget what a big wide world is out there. Heal the ouch. Sometimes I can kind of read this as, again, maybe you just need to get away to heal. Maybe you need to get away, there's a lot of reasons why you might not want to stay in your same place. Maybe you just need to get out of the house. Maybe you've had a loss in your family and you need to just, kind of move it. Maybe you're changing jobs and you still, kind of feel the pain of that change. So, I just think that this is really beautiful. Ghostlands really talks about not staying in the past or in the future, but being present. But I know a lot of these are like a lot more spiritual journey, but I think this really does pertain to real journeys as well, stuck in the mud, Maybe this means you'll get a flat tire, and hopefully not. But either that, or it could sometimes I see this literally like you're being a stick in the mud, maybe lighten up, go with the flow. Education, sometimes maybe maybe it's a sabbatical to learn, or an internship in another country, something like that. Making a choice, it might be a choice between two destinations, or you might be facing a big choice. But these cards are really beautiful. Flying, maybe this could be literal flying. Into the unknown, maybe explore, but don't try to control it. Just kind of sense your way, feel your way. Dragon's Lair. Now, of course, there are more relationship cards, like commitment, coming apart. Dry desert, this could be a literal, going to a desert. But it's really got some beautiful cards. Now, this definitely is very poignant, here, Golden Palace. I mean, these really look like the temples, like the seven wonders of the world. Metamorphosis. Maybe you feel like you're changing how travel, experiencing new things changes you. Wizard of Awareness is really about like not controlling the outcome, or if you feel like things are changing around you, just kind of observe, sit from a point of wisdom. And Sad Embrace. But again, there's some really, really great cards, and these talk about unexpected visitors. Maybe you're dropping in on someone, or someone's dropping in on you. Spirit of Place, I really see this as like being out amongst the trees, coming to life. Maybe you're transforming through your experiences. Wandering Circus really talks about being independent. Magical Map Shifter, that really talks about, I always get kind of a magician energy from this. Either someone that you're traveling with might be encouraging you to try new things, or maybe you're inspiring someone else, or either that, or you're making things happen. Like, again, maybe there's a destination that's been on your bucket list, and you're gonna make it, like you're gonna manifest it, you're gonna make it happen. Compass, I think that one's a great one. That's also about following your inner intuition. Rescue. But there's some really beautiful cards here, and there's just some great ones, and these do talk a lot about personal journey, and relationship journeys, but I do think that can also pertain to travel as well. And I feel like the imagery is just such a perfect You know, we got this in the Earth Day reading too. But I definitely feel like, you know, these cards talk a lot about like home, you know, maybe going home again, or listening. Sometimes this, I really think about music, or, you know, something. Sometimes when you have a long road trip, if you either listen to an audiobook, or sometimes when you come back, you've been exposed to a lot more new music when you've been on a journey. So again, I do think that we went over this in our Earth Magic collection, but I do feel like these decks speak so well of travel as well. Now, the second deck is called the Sacred Traveler Oracle Cards by Denise Linn. And Denise Linn is an author of another deck that I have, that she's very, very good. And just like the other decks, she has a picture of the card, she has a keyword, a phrase, and then a card meaning. Now, in her deck, in her deck, it's not upright in reverse. It's just, it'll talk about the card meaning, and then it'll say what the sacred traveler wants you to know, which is almost like advice for the card, right? And it's a very good book. I haven't referenced it too much just because the cards themselves just work so well on their own, but it is a good book. But I do love this. Again, you've got like cards that say like vast vista, expand your horizons, and you see somebody who, this does look almost like a fool card, and then you've got a boat in the distance. Impasse, reflect and redirect your energy. Overcoming obstacles, you can overcome anything. So again, this can be about both a spiritual journey. I do turn to these cards a lot when I want like really positive advice. Stepping into your power, you are strong beyond measure. Fogged in, go slow, take time. A voyage of the heart, love flows through you and to you. Uncovering treasure beneath the surface. Passion and pleasure, savor your life. So I love how some of these cards really talk about either, you know, doing something for the love of somebody, or doing something to really, you know, express yourself or to have fun. In the flow, everything is smooth sailing. Far away places, get ready for new horizons. That's great. Discovering truth, you stand in the light of truth. Begin now, you know. So, and again, view from above, see the big picture. Grace and gratitude. So you see, these cards are really, really lovely. You know, valiant courage, taking shelter, the answers are within, grounding. But you see that there's some great ones, and this does talk a lot about spiritual journeys, but it does, breaking trail, great adventure. I just love how these decks can really, you know, finding sanctuary. We talked in the last deck about sometimes, you know, maybe you just need to get away to be by yourself. I love this card especially. It's protected by angels. You are cherished by the angels. Cleansing waters, but desert passage. So you see, you know, Gates of Triumph. This really does have some beautiful cards that talk about spiritual transformation, distant thunder, clear the air, rainbow blessings. But whether you're on like a real journey or on a spiritual journey, unknown territory, you are exactly where you need to be. Traveling lightly, simplify your life. A wise leader. Watching clouds, lie back, rest, and relax. Reaching your destination, but wandering path, enjoy the journey. But you see, you know, wondrous universe, walk in beauty. These cards are just really, really gorgeous, and they have such positive messages. And ascending the mountain, keep going forward. Fellow travelers. So you see that, you know, there's just so many really, really great images and keywords. And I feel like, you know, you could use this for real traveling. You could use this for, you know, like spiritual insight. You know, first light, you're beginning a new cycle, answering the call, solitude. But you see, these cards are just really, really gorgeous. And I just feel like, you know, if anytime I need some kind of like, if I feel like I'm on a journey, or you can kind of read them more literally if you are actually traveling. So, but those are the two decks that I use the most for travel. So I definitely just wanted to share them with you. I think they're gorgeous, and I think they're both still in print. They're a good quality card. They're wider cards, and they're a good price point. They're not expensive at all. But all right, guys, so that's my deck collection for travel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull just one card from each. It's going to be a real quick reading, and I have 3 placeholders here. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull one card from each deck, and I'm going to do 3 piles. And then in a minute, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about the placeholders, let you pick a pile, and we'll go ahead and see, you know, what's your spiritual journey. So we'll go ahead and just say that. What's your spiritual journey right now? But I'm going to go ahead and put on some music and fast forward. If you want to skip straight to the reading, the timestamps are below. If not, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and one pile did get 2 cards. All the other piles have just one of each. So I'll let you know when we get to that pile which one got the extra card. But I was guided to take it. But we've got 3 placeholders here. The first placeholder, we've got, this is so adorable. We got this little suitcase, and it's got little stamps. And this is what I love about this little suitcase is it's got like little stamps on it. But the suitcase actually opens up. If I can open this up, hold on a second. There we go. It opens up, and then inside is a little postcard that says Bon Voyage. I think that's so cute. It's like a real little charm. So that's pile number 1. Pile number 2 is the little passport charm. And again, as I said in the beginning, you know, if you are really traveling, please be safe. But that's the second placeholder. Now, the third placeholder is still a charm, but what it was is that it's a compass charm. So if you see that, it's a little compass. Focus, please. There we go. Oops. It's a little compass charm, but I had attached it to my Smoky Quartz pendulum. So the pendulum you use to, you know, for kind of divination with pointing to answers on a board. But I didn't want to take the charm off, so I went ahead and I left it attached to the Smoky Quartz, and Smoky Quartz is a very cleansing stone, by the way. So that's going to be pile number 3. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and do a freeze frame where you can choose your pile. If you need more time, please pause the video, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to move our other piles to the side just for a moment. So pile number 1, and again, these are going to be real quick reads. We're just going to see, okay, what's your journey? What's your journey? We'll just call it that. What's your journey? It can be a real journey. It can be a spiritual journey. So pile number 1, we've got your suitcase. So pile number 1, the little suitcase. And you are the one that got the 2 cards. So let's go ahead and see here. We've got First Light, Beginning a New Cycle, the Gentle Gardener, and Spark. Oh my gosh, guys, this is a really gorgeous combination. I'm really glad that we kept the 2 cards. So First Light, you see Beginning a New Cycle, and you kind of see the 4 seasons. You see winter, fall, spring, summer. And I think what it's really telling you is that I feel like you're in a springtime, because like spring is in here to the upper right, and you see the Gentle Gardener here. But what I think is, I think you've been through kind of a tough cycle, and I think spiritually it's just telling you to kind of hang in there. I also think that it's telling you to be kind of gentle with yourself. Real quick, I'm just going to read this super fast because I think the description of this card is so beautiful. But it says, the gentle gardener is visiting you at this moment in your life to remind you that your thoughts, feelings, and belief create the reality that you experience. She is the embodiment of energy within you that is sent out into the field of co-creation and ensures that all you are that you that you are is all that you are is reflected in the world of form. Are you aware of your thoughts? What are their quality? Believe in limitless possibility and you will see miracles unfold. The gentle gardener guarantees the integrity of everything you send out in the world. Stay positive and expect a wondrous return. Your garden is abundant with beauty. Wow, and that really is about creative manifestation. I know sometimes when we've kind of been through a few seasons, like when you're coming out of winter, you really start to wonder whether or not, spring is really coming. But I think that it's just reminding you that you have like a wealth of abundance to you. I think it is telling you to be ready to make those changes. You know how sometimes you know what I get with the suitcase is, how when you're packing up your suitcase, you're always that little nervousness that you feel the night before. You're like, oh, I'm really doing this. I'm really going forward, right? And so try to think positively about that. Energy follows thought. The other thing that I get is that here it has spark. And spark is so beautiful. You see this, there's a, it's funny, there's a, what I always think of is there's a wonderful musician here on YouTube. Her name is Lindsey. I forget the name. I'm going to post it in the description box. But she plays the violin like you wouldn't believe. Like she does covers of popular songs. And there's actually a cover of Carol of the Bells. It's a winter song, but it's so gorgeous the way that she just plays the violin. And I feel like it's just kind of telling you that you have that kind of spark of creativity in you. It's like, if you could be really opened up to inspiration if you're not, don't allow your thoughts to be narrow or filtered, because I really get the sense like your creativity, your energy can create anything that you want. All it needs is that spark, right? The other thing I kind of get is that if you are contemplating a trip, maybe it has been kind of like a tough time, and this could be related to world events too. Maybe you've really been stuck at home, or you've been dealing with some really heavy stuff. And, when you finally get back out in the world, to remember that you have an abundance of possibilities. You could be very well inspired, like you take one step out into that garden and it's just like woof, like you're ready to play, right? You're ready to play. And I just think that it's really telling you, you're beginning a new cycle, and really I'm hearing sky's the limit. But I do think also that if you are daring to go someplace, that the places that you travel now are really going to inspire you. Like something that you see or something that you experience might really open up like a whole new field. I'm hearing field for you. So that could be work related, or it could just be creative related. But I do think that it's, the other thing I get is that wherever you go or whatever you do, this new cycle is really going to let you express yourself. Like, again, I think of that lady, I think her name's Lindsey Stirling, who plays the violin like nobody's business. And she's just, I feel like that would be you, like you. The other thing I get is that you see these little fireballs, they're little flaming hearts. It's almost like you would put your heart and soul into anything that you would do now. And I think if you do that, if you put your heart and soul into what you want to do, or where you want to go, or the places you want to see, it's just gonna give you like, everything's gonna open up for you, and it's gonna be like a really blazing new start and on a new journey for you. But wow, guys, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. That is so amazing, pile one. I really like that. That's really some great energy. All right, so pile number 2, we've got the little passport. It's so cute. We got 2 cards. Oh, and look at this, guys. Reaching your destination, and your light is shining brightly, and flying. And wow, guys, I just feel like, wow, doesn't this vista, both vistas kind of look similar? You know, it looks like this magical place. Um, but what I'm seeing here is that, you know, what I'm almost getting is that, especially with like the passport, I feel like just like pile one was like starting off on a new cycle, I think you might be concluding a cycle. Like you might actually be completing something. It says your light is shining brightly. You're reaching your destination, and you see how you're like flying. The other thing I get is that this destination looks like it's floating, and it's like you're flying up to get to reach it, which I know seems very mystical. There's a lot of like rainbows in this, um, but let me go ahead, and I'll go ahead and read the flying card real quick. It pretty much means what it means, but it says, if you were a bird flying high through the air, what would you see? When you soar above life's challenges and opportunities, a new perspective becomes available. Today you have invisible wings that will allow you to swiftly bring your circumstances into alignment with your highest purpose. This is a sign that the waiting is over, and that all your hard work is paid off, and the things you hoped for are no longer beyond your scope. You have the ability to reach for the stars and find one with your name on it. Spread your wings and soar. The angels are waiting for you. So, wow, guys, you see what I mean? Reaching your destination, like nothing is beyond your reach. And actually, I feel like you are, whether this be, you know, maybe you have completed some kind of journey, that could be spiritually, it could be work related, it could be family related, or an actual destination. Maybe you did recently visit some place that you've always dreamed of going, right? But either that, or if this is more of a spiritual destination, you're there, honey. You're there, and it's like, again, like you're flying. You're rising above. The other thing I get is that you see how there's a maze underneath, and you're just floating over it. It's like you're not lost. You are not lost. You know where you want to go, and your destination is within reach. So I really, the other thing I get is your charm really plays into that, because you know you only pull out your passport when you've arrived, either when you're departing or when you arrived. And you know how they stamp your passport when you get there? I think that's great. There's such synchronicities with this. I am also getting a lot of spring imagery here with all the really green grass. So I feel like I feel like, you know, things are, again, your light is shining real bright. The other thing I kind of get is that if this was a spiritual journey, I think that you are inspiring others as well. Like, other people can see how you've handled, you know, like you've risen above your problems and your challenges to get you kept your eye on where you wanted to go. And wow, guys, that's really beautiful. That's really great energy. I like that. All right, so last but not least, we really do have a beautiful placeholder here. As I explained in the description, this is another charm, but it's a charm at the end of a pendulum. I'm sorry, yeah. So it's a little compass charm, but it's attached to my Smoky Quartz pendulum. So I didn't want to detach it because that's where I have it. But you did get two cards, and wow, guys, oh my gosh, this is poignant energy. So you got rock bottom, and you got distant thunder, which is clear the air. So I just want to see that the imagery in this is really amazing. You're seeing like a mountain and a lightning clap, right? Um, so wow, guys, I really get the sense that you might be in the midst of some kind of difficult challenges right now. Like you might be in the midst of a kind of challenging a spiritual journey. Rock bottom is kind of, I'm going to go ahead and just read it real quick. It says, as difficult as it may be to accept, it seems that you've reached a point where you can go no further in the same manner in which you've been doing things. Perhaps you've hit a proverbial brick wall, or experienced a deep sense of loss and don't know where to turn. The old way of doing things must be discarded fully in order to move onward and upward. A new direction and a new strategy are called for. The only way out is through surrender. Accept things as they are and admit that you have no idea what to do next. If you wait in a heartfelt moment of release, then a stairway will appear like magic, and all manner of synchronicities will show you the way to higher ground. This rock bottom card is a sign that a miracle is about to occur, but only if you let go completely. So wow, guys, one thing with rock bottom, there's the only way out is up. There's no other way but up, right? And Distant Thunder really talks about that too. Lightning and mountains in Lenormand talk about challenge, and then lightning kind of thinks a tower, right? But what I don't say that to scare you. I see anything, whatever this pertains to, you are well aware of. That's what I'm kind of thinking. The other thing that I kind of see is that with the charm you chose, Smoky Quartz is really about cleansing. It's about cleansing out, stagnant energy, and that's what lightning does. The other thing is compass is about, it's about both honoring your internal compass, but also knowing the right way to go, right? The right direction to go. And just like you saw here, the right direction is up, but what I'm kind of sensing here is that I do think that you might have, you might be kind of stuck in a kind of a rock bottom situation, but you do have a solution. You do have a way out, but the way out is going to be a little chaotic. I am almost getting a little bit of that tower moment where the only way out is through. And you might have to clear the air. You might have to have some breaks with people. You might have to have some breaks with finances. You might have to get really tough, or face some kind of tough challenges. But with the lightning there, I just really get a feeling like tower, like you said, just like in tarot, the tower is about, you can't continue, like, if something was built on a false foundation, the only way to make it right is to break it down, to level it, to get everything back down to rock bottom, back down to the rock foundation, so you can build again. But the other thing I get is that with this imagery, I also get the feeling like, I'm sure, I know it's trite of us to say, oh, well, it'll be so easy, just do this. It's never that easy, because the thing about the tower here is that, you feel safe up in a tower, right? That's in Lenormand, that's where you go to have protection. So, going out in the storm, or, making these really crazy changes is not going to be easy. But it will give you the pathway out. And the other thing I get is that, again, you have a cleansing stone, and you have attached to a compass. And honestly, these points, when you hold these points, what they do is they point a direction, right? It starts to swing and points to a direction to go. So I think that you were drawn to this pile because you do. That's what you want. You want to have a direction, and this guidance. It's like a spiritual. This is like a spiritual journey, but it is almost like telling you, like, the path that you're on, you've kind of hit a brick wall. You can break out of this cycle, you can break out of this situation, but it is going to have to be some clearing the air. It's going to have to be some hard truth. It might be a little bit of some disciplined honesty. It's going to be disciplined honesty, or the other thing is that I think it's really is telling you, kind of trust your compass. One thing I kind of get from both of these cards is trust your truth. If something was not working, if you clear the air, just kind of put one foot in front of the other, but don't continue down the path that was taking you to the rock bottom. Break down whatever that bad situation was, and then once you get it leveled again, then you can decide how to go forward. Now, I do get the sense that in this situation, it might end up, shaking up your life, and possibly the life of somebody else who's involved. But the other thing I get from the compass is they talk about, like, they talk about in astrology, they talk about a north node, which is your internal compass. It's the direction you spiritually need to you be guided to go. Um, and the north node is really difficult to follow sometimes because it's uncomfortable. you, it's a direction that you're not used to going, and that's what I kind of get here. It's a direction, clean slate, great, but it's gonna feel really, because again, after the lightning strike of the tower comes the star of hope. And wow, the compass on this almost looks like a star too. And wow, guys, that's what sailors use to navigate, to chart their course, is they look at the North Star. But yeah, I do. I feel for you, pile three, because I think you are on a spiritual journey right now, and things feel a little uncertain. You know the direction you need to go in, but it's almost like just one foot in front of the other, because you're not going to have that 100% certainty. That something inside of you is going to tell you that that's the right direction to go, but it is going to be uncomfortable, and it's just going to feel like everything is chaotic. So you do have to trust your inner compass. And again, smoky quartz really, just like obsidian, just like other bloodstone, smoky quartz is a very cleansing kind of stone. It's about cleansing out, not bad energy, but really, confused energy, hardened feelings, feelings where you've had this kind of journey where things have been, less than smooth. Um, but I do think I think this is a positive message, because it's just saying clear the air, clear the air. If you need to speak your truth, if you need to let the tower fall, go ahead and do that, and that will be your path forward and your path out of that, of that troubling situation. But wow, guys, oh my gosh, that really did turn into kind of like a spiritual journey kind of card. But I thank you so much for joining me. I really enjoyed that. I do. I love these pick a pile videos, and I'll definitely be looking forward to doing more of them soon. But if you get a chance to check out this video, thank you so much for visiting. And I hope you have a great National Travel Week, May 2nd through May 9th, I think. So if whether you're really traveling, or you're thinking about it, even just planning out a trip is always exciting. It releases positive endorphins in your brain. So I definitely, either that, or if you're on a spiritual journey, definitely, I wish you all, health and happiness and joy, and in your travels and in your exploration. But I thank you so much for joining me again today, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.